Welcome back to the Value Driven Investor Podcast, where we forge value-driven investors on a mission to live life on their terms. No matter where you have come from or where you are going, becoming a value-driven investor is in all our best interests, because becoming financially free allows us to focus on what matters most, fulfilling our purpose. Our community of value-driven investors is committed to showing you the way. With the support of this community, you are sure to reach your goals. For all of us in the value-driven investor community, there is no greater gift than the gift of giving, because together, anything is possible. Today, we're back for another value-driven investor podcast, but today, this podcast, it's going to be unlike any other podcast we have ever been on. Grando, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. Another beautiful day in paradise. Super excited to shoot this episode. Been waiting for it.
I know, man. It's this one's going to be like, it's kind of like when you have a kid. And I've been asked that, when I had a kid when I was 30 years old. So I was a little bit older. And, I've told the story a lot, and I feel like today is part of that story. But when you get married and when you have kids, and if you're young and you haven't experienced either of those things, then you're going to know what I mean when it actually happens to you. Mm-hmm. And if you have experienced one or both of those, you're going to know what I mean, because you've been there and you've done that. But yeah. I'll never forget the day that when my oldest daughter was born and I had her in my hands for the very first time. I knew at that exact moment my life truly had changed forever. Would you agree, Bob? I mean, you got kids.
Yeah. Life will never be the same.
Life is, in some good ways, just you knew it.
In some hard ways,
Yep.
But yeah, no, kids are amazing. It's totally true. Like any project, business, or anything, it is truly your baby that has to learn to get to phase one, where it's like, hey, let's feed them. And then, okay, now they can start walking and start growing. And now look what your kids are doing. They're doing amazing things right now. So
exactly. And it was probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life, because there's actually a phase in my life when I was young and dumb and pretty much just caught up in myself, and maybe I was selfish, I don't know, maybe it's just being young, but yeah. I was like, I'm never having kids, you know what I mean? I'm never having kids. Like, I got so much I want to do in this world. And I always tell people, I'm like, you know what, if I would have never had kids, like if I had kids and I know what it's like now, and someone brought me all the way back there and said, you don't get to have kids, that would have been one of the biggest regrets that I ever had. But
yeah, for sure.
Why does that even matter for today's podcast? Because that's how significant today's podcast is for myself. And really the first question is that I want to ask everybody that's listening: can we count on you? Now, what does that mean? Well, what that means is that for the last 7 years of my life, I've been asking people this question when it comes to raising almost $150,000 for my daughter Shanley and our fight against type 1 diabetes. Team Sugar Shay, which this year, 2021, we ended up being the #1 team in all of the Twin Cities at the JDRF One-Walk. We raised the most amount of money. Our team raised over $150,000, or not over $150,000, but over almost $40,000.
Oh,
more money than 500 teams that were participating in the JDRF One-Walk this year in 2021.
Wow.
With thousands of people participating in the movement and in the walk to find a cure for type 1 diabetes. This was my first shot leading a team, or leading anything that really mattered. Team Sugar Shay and the fight against type 1 diabetes, and reaching out to a community of friends, family, and other people who had the same struggle that we had. Team Sugar Shay was my first shot at really being a leader. And was it easy? Hell no. It's not easy. But is it worth it? I would tell you this: it's the best time I have ever spent, and the rewards far exceed any amount of money I will ever receive in my lifetime. Now, you might be asking yourself, why? Purpose. Purpose is why. And when you're young, you don't really understand purpose. because you're so caught up in everything that you're worried about. But as you get older, like Bob and I, and you start to realize life starts to kick you in the teeth a little bit more, and you start to open up and get a little wiser, and then you start to discover what purpose really is. And purpose is what you and I are on this earth to achieve. I believe this is true, and I believe this is our life's mission. Now, money to me, I believe it's just a tool. But for those in the survival phase, it feels like that's all that matters in their life. What's the problem? The problem is, how do I make enough money so I can see it as a tool, not something that defines my self-worth? Okay, well, what's the solution then? That's the value-driven investor community. Today is not even day one. We are still working hard at building the value-driven investor community. Today is the day we see if anyone is willing to lead change with us. Because today is the day we reach our hands out and ask you for help. We do this by opening our value-driven investor community to you, the leader out there looking to make a difference in the world, just like Bob and I. You're probably asking yourself, well, how? By taking a chance on Bob and I. If you are willing, we would love to talk with you. You may already know we opened up the value-driven investor community on September 15th, 2021 to find 50 founding members who are brave enough to join us in creating what Bob and I believe will be one of the strongest investment communities you will ever find. Why do we believe this? Trust.
Yeah.
Based on both Bob's and my track record, we are building a community of like-minded people on a mission to lead by giving, on a mission to design and build a life on their terms. In doing so, each person, if they never quit, will realize survival is just a phase. Money is just a tool. And life is about becoming your best self through the pursuit of purpose. On September 15th, we started contacting the people we know and trust who can bring value to our community, the value-driven investor community. People we believe will lead by giving. Today we are opening it up to the world and asking you to join us. Together, anything is possible. Being a founding member isn't for everyone. Starting something new takes a special person who can see the vision and believe in playing the long game. If that sounds like you, then this might be your calling. And if it is, visit valuedriveninvestor.com. Again, it's valuedriveninvestor.com and click on the apply for membership button. Ever since I can remember, my father told me, son, trust is earned, not given. In the beginning of my life, I made a lot of bad decisions and decided having fun was more important than investing in myself and my athletic talents. Now at the age of 43, I accept the fact that my extremist personality was running out of control. Today, I have taken control of my extremist ways and have learned how to turn this energy into purpose. I won't say my decisions at a young age are the only reasons I didn't reach my goal of becoming a Division I hockey player, but today, because I execute extreme self-awareness and am open to telling my truth, I now know these decisions played a big part in my failure. What do I say to that? Good is what I look back and say to my high school self, because today I am better for that failure. Today I am more committed to myself than ever and everything it takes to reach my full potential. But I can't reach my full potential alone. Team is in my blood. Team is what I know. Today, Bob and I are looking to build a team of value-driven investors. And this means our team of founding members. Bob, I have to say this gets me kind of choked up just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Both of us have put blood, sweat, and tears into building this and the foundation of this program. And this has been a couple of years in the making, from the idea to the execution, to finding the team, to the podcast, to the content, just everything. We have a long way to go. However, I feel like the people, systems, and both of our never quit attitudes won't disappoint.
No doubt.
Bob, man, I need a minute, man. So take it from here. I mean, I probably couldn't do this without you. And I really think it's important that everybody gets a feel from you on what the value-driven investor community means to you, and what you hope to give and what you hope to get.
Yeah, man. I'm super pumped that we're here at this point and we're thinking about taking this path. And I think you say it best, can we count on you? Because you can count on us for sure with this community. And that's why we want a community of like-minded people like us who we know that we can count on. Trust is a two-way street. I really love what you said. Trust is earned, not given. And I fully embody that my whole life. I earn trust in everything I do. For me, my investor career started just a few years ago, but my real estate career started 10 years ago. And through that process of growth and my whole path has led me to this point, to the point where I'm still growing as a real estate investor. I'm still doing it, but what's the next level? The next level is to get around people who embody what you embody, to be around a community of people who truly can grow with you and bring other ideas to help you grow, as well as vice versa, help them grow. So for me, in the last few years, starting Impact Club, donating, over $180,000 back to our local community, it's all part of the process of being the best possible person I can in my life. And that's the most important thing. And when you brought the value-driven investor to me and you said, hey man, I really think that we can do this. I want you to be a part of it. And we just kicked it around as an idea a couple of years ago. It was just like a little flame, like a candle just sitting there. And we just kept coming back to it and kept coming back to it, to the point where you're like, we got to launch this. I've got the concept. We've talked about it enough. We're doers and we're going to do it. And then we did it. And now look where we're at. In just a short time, we have the episodes where we're at. I don't even know how many podcast episodes we're in, but now the whole thought of us being able to have a community now and to grow it didn't just happen overnight. It took a lot of hard work, just as, like you said, blood, sweat, and tears for us to get there, to do it. And now we're doing it. And so what I think is so important about that and so important about us is when we say we're going to do something, we're going to do it. And when we start something, we finish it and we don't quit. Quitting is never an option for us. So I challenge
Bob, it's like being in a fire. I mean, you've used so many analogies that I honestly, I've never been there, and I love your analogies, but you have been there, and you've literally saved lives, and you've literally walked into fires. I mean, I don't know. You probably can tell the story better than me, but I know you've shared some stories with me about being in a car accident, and you thought, man, maybe I'm not going to be able to make this happen, and it was the decision of I'm never quitting, and that could mean saving someone's life. Now, is a value-driven investor like that? No. But I truly believe that what we're doing here, and the reason and the purpose of why you and I have chosen to do this, is so that we can help make lives better.
100%, man. That's exactly it. It comes down to that at the end of the day. Can we help you grow? Can you grow with us? Can we grow together? Can we do things together? Things that you never thought were possible, things that we had never thought were possible. It doesn't happen with one. It doesn't happen with two. It happens with the community. Everybody knows that, but there's just not a lot of great communities out there. And I feel like this is a great community. So I challenge you to join the value-driven investor. So if you want to be part of our community, if you want to apply for membership, it's an application process. Go to the valuedriveninvestor.com, click apply for membership, fill out the application, do it wholeheartedly We'll review it. We'll get back to you. We're only looking for 50 people. We don't even know if we can get 50 people. We're willing to accept whoever we can get to keep testing this process, because we know we're going to add massive value to ourselves, and we're going to add massive value to you in your life.
That's awesome, Bob. Yeah. So if you guys want to sign up, it's a 3-step process, and we've thought hard about this 3-step process because just like Bob and I don't want to be coaches, we'd rather be a mentor.
Right.
We could easily open this up to just anybody, and we could just try to collect as much money as we want. If we get 100, 200, 300, who knows how many people sign up, right? If we take anybody.
Yeah.
But there you go. That's the whole point, is that we don't care about the money. Now, I've told you all along that the money is part of the bigger picture. But what's most important at this step, which is the founding member step, is the people. Because as a founding member, you're going to be an integral part of creating this community, of setting, you're like the foundational bricks to a community. And this is the first building. Yeah. And that's how important you are as a founding member. And that's why we decided that we have to do an application process. Bob and I, so step 1 is go to valuedriveninvestor.com, click apply for membership. You will immediately be transferred to a membership form. You will be asked questions. Please take your responses to every question very seriously, because Bob and I will literally personally read every single one of these applications. From there, Bob and I are going to decide, who do we think is a good fit? We know that we only have approximately 50 positions that we're going to be able to fill. So it is limited. We're not going to take everyone. And after we read the applications, if Bob and I mutually, that means both of us agree that this person's going to be a good fit, then you know what? We're going to either text you or call you and ask you to have a personal phone call one-on-one with Bob or myself, and maybe even both of us. Mm-hmm. And in that call, that's when we're really going to decide, like, is this person in it for the long haul? Is this person's heart in becoming a founding member and making this community the best it can possibly be? And does this person have value? Things that Bob and I can learn from you. Mm-hmm. These are all things that we're going to ask of every single member that joins a value-driven investor community, because if we can find people like that, we can truly change the world. And I believe that. And so if Bob and I interview you and we have a talk on the phone and we think, we hang up and we do a high five and we're like, oh, dude, this is a perfect person. Then you know what? We're going to send you an application. You sign up and you are now going to be a founding member. And when you come in, is it going to be perfect? Is everything that we have figured out in the back end perfect? No. But you know what? Life isn't perfect. And the best thing about it is that no matter what, you have to start somewhere. Yeah. And I truly believe, and I know Bob truly believes, because he's about as authentic an entrepreneur as you can find. Sometimes the beginning, when it sucks and it's the hardest, it's the most fun.
It's the best.
So I'm stoked. I hope you guys visit our valuedriveninvestor.com page. I hope you are one of the few that clicks apply for membership, and we can see you on the other side. Take care, and we'll catch you on the next podcast.
Good news, the Value Driven Investor community opens to founding members on September 15th. Early access to half-off memberships will be available for 2 weeks only. The VDI community means access to driven and passionate members, access to workshops that fast-track your investment knowledge, and direct access to Tim Murphy, Bob Grant, and other experts that will answer your questions and guide you through the process of your personal investment opportunities. What does living life on your terms mean to you? The Value Driven Investor community will take you one step closer to that dream. Apply at valuedriveninvestor.com. The Value Driven Investor podcast was produced by Digital Legend Media in Minneapolis. Build your legend, digitallegendmedia.com.